Hi there. Over the years, I've come across chronic issues, challenges, and problems in all sorts of companies. And organizations tend to either struggle with these or put up with these because we generally don't have the understanding to identify them, never mind deal with them. And these issues and challenges are often so ingrained in companies that the idea of dealing with them can often be taken off the table because they're just seen as this is the way this is. But this is just a basic misunderstanding. Now, some of the obvious ones are things like stress, pressure, feeling like we haven't enough time. And this is an experience that lots of people have in their working life. And it's felt to be a function of things like workload, increased stimulation from the information age, all the new digital technology, ongoing change in organizations, continuously having to do more with less. And all these things are happening in organizations, but there's an assumption that these things lead to our feelings of pressure and stress and feelings of not having enough time. And then there's the secondary problems, things like time management, prioritizing, and work-life balance. And these are all things that are important to people, but they can find them difficult and challenging. And sometimes we can even find ourselves thinking, sure, we're never going to figure out work-life balance. And sure, you can't not have pressure or stress at work if you care about your work and if you're involved in your work. And especially if you work for an organization that's focused on its outputs and its performance and all of its metrics and KPIs. And, there's a tendency to think that the best that we can do is either learn to live with this or learn to manage it. And there's endless courses out there to help us manage our stress. You can take a course on how to sleep better to manage your stress, how to eat better, how to exercise, how to manage your time. And these are all done with the intention of helping you reduce your stress or manage your stress. But the idea that stress is built into the system in the first place, that wear and tear and pressure are an inherent part of working life, that's a basic misunderstanding because it's not a given. There's a huge amount of potential and variation in the amount of pressure and stress that we can have. And stress levels are directly related to our thinking, our clarity of mind, our communications, our relationships and interactions, processes and outputs. So stress levels, in my mind, are an organizational cultural factor. And they're based on the assumptions within any organization. So we will, based on those assumptions, we'll tolerate, endorse, and put up with a certain level of stress. And that stress level will impact our clarity, our state of mind, our interactions, our communications, our processes, our outputs, and everything else. It's guaranteed. But that's a piece of understanding that's not fully appreciated. There's this idea that stress and pressure are independent variables. They're emotional factors, and that they're related to our ability to manage our stress, manage our time, and manage pressure. But these are, assumptions then that pressure and stress are unavoidable. And I'm suggesting that these are misunderstandings. Because once we see this, we can see that stress is a more variable option. Not because you stopped caring about your work or stopped being involved in your work, but optional because when you see what's driving stress, when you see where it comes from, when you see what it's related to, then you can see how much freedom we have around it. And there's lots of other areas in business and working life where there's misunderstandings playing out as well on unquestioned assumptions. And all these misunderstandings impact our ability in area, to produce results in areas like motivation, performance, engagement, and our enjoyment of our working life. So there's a huge positive impact when we see how this actually works. And we see that we're operating with some basic misunderstandings. Sure, it's no wonder we're not getting the results that we want. And the more that we understand how these things operate, the easier then it is for us to become more effective in our working lives. So that's it for today. I hope you found value in this, and I'll see you next time. Take care.